Hi everyone, welcome to yet another episode of Mysterious Reality. Today we'll be looking at issues or problems that makes the 21st century men struggle so much. What makes the 21st century men struggle so much? We'll be looking at some of the issues. Before I proceed with this video, I want us to understand that most of my videos are based on experience from people around me, experience from friends, experience from families. It's not based on professionalism. It is based on personal experience and experiences of people around me. Okay, so today we'll be looking at some of the reasons why the 21st century men tend to suffer so much. From what I have observed, I will categorize the 21st century men into 5 categories. Remember, it's not every 21st century men, that are struggling. Some are well enough. Some are okay. But 70% of the young men of the 21st century people are suffering. Especially the young ones. They are really struggling. And today we'll be looking at some of the reasons. So from my observation, the number one reason is, the number one category is those who are from a special background. Maybe their forefathers have healing gifts, or their fathers or their grandfathers have healing gifts. Some, their fathers are traditional doctors. Herbalists. Others, their great-grandfather or mother are prophets. Some, they are chief priests to a deity, one local deity or another. Their forefathers. These categories of men, some of them don't even know that their forefathers or their great-grandmothers have their special gifts. They didn't grow to see them practice any. Maybe they were practicing and in the process they died and they didn't hand it over. But so long as they are from that lineage, some of them inherit some of these gifts from their parents, from their great-grandparents, from their great-great-grandparents, and so they are not putting it to work. And so it begins to disturb them. Because these great-grandparents who have served one deity or the other, who have served one, they serve so many things actually. In those days, those early days, they serve so many things. So they must have made a lot of promises, and usually they make their own promises. They say to our children's children, they tend to speak for themselves and for their children's children, So if these people die and there is no one else to inherit whatever the gift from the family, from their genealogy, and continue with what they are doing, with time, as time goes on, people tend to forget those things. And so those spirits begins to give trouble. They begins to make demands. This is the first category. Those who are born into special gifted families. Prophets, herbalists, healers, native doctors, custodians of different shrines. So these people, their children's children are really suffering in this 21st century. Another category of men who are really going through issues are those who come from the lineage of kings, who come from the lineage of queens, from big Obi, when they say Obi, Eze, Oba, from people from this kind of clan, people from this kind of family, they tend to suffer because those days handling kingship involves a lot of rituals, a lot of sacrifices, a lot of bloodshed. So after these ritualistic and ceremonies, it tends to affect the generations to come. Even some of this family, maybe their kingship has even shifted from their families, it has gone to another family, but yet their children's children, who are maybe they might even be in the third or fourth generations, are the ones suffering the consequences of what their fathers did. Another category of people are men who got into whose great-grandparents got into so much ritualistic ceremonies to maintain their status as traditional, do I call it political, to maintain their political status at that time, to maintain their economic status, to maintain their their standard, their status in the society. Some of them are great wrestlers, some of them are great hunters, and so many of them do so much rituals to maintain that social status. Some of them even got involved in real rituals, killed real humans to maintain their status. And so most of them are dead and gone, but their children and children's children are suffering the consequences of their actions. Another category of men who are suffering so much in this 21st century are men whose father, great-grandfather, great-great-grandfather maltreated their wives. Those days, some of them don't care about their wives. Some of them treat their wives as slaves. Some of them don't even care. For one single error, the woman is brutally treated. So some of those women die cursing the husband, cursing the family. And those days, any little thing, whatever, anytime the man gets angry, he will quickly call the kingsmen meeting, and so they take a decision against their wives. And so some of these women die cursing that family, laying curses on that family. It is true, these events have come and gone, but the consequences of those actions tend to make life miserable for the young people of today. Again, another category of men that I've seen that are really suffering today are men. I've talked about men who, I need to recap. I've talked about men who are from special gifted families, men who are from the king lineage, men who treat their wives wrongly, men who do all sorts of rituals to maintain their social status, and then finally, men who do all sorts of things to maintain, they call it maintaining the family lineage. Yeah, they are not kings, they don't have special giftings, but these men believe that a family should be protected, and so they do all sorts of rituals to protect their families. Some even sacrifice their own children, maybe one child, one girl child or one boy child, to protect the rest of the family. So you see the cry of these people, the cry of these children, these people they kill to make the sacrifices, is coming back. And so who is suffering it? The men of today. Most of them, no matter how they try to make ends meet, it never happens. Those days, men do so many things to maintain their level. I'm telling you. And whatever they do, for them, it was right. At that time, that was what they felt was the best. But like everyone knows, no matter what happens, there is consequences for every action. So for some men who were ritual, who were rapists, who were evil, who were very deadly, sometimes their children in this generation tend to suffer for what they know nothing about. I don't know you as a man. I don't know if you happen to fall into any of these categories. Are you suffering? Are you really going through issues? You know you are putting your best, but the result is not worth the effort. I want to encourage you to go back and check up on your genealogy. Check up on your family history. Are you a wife? You are married to a man. You have done virtually everything and it doesn't seem to be working. I want to encourage you to check up the genealogy of your husband so that you'll be able to clear off the way for your own children, so your children doesn't suffer what their father is suffering. Because if it's as a result of evil deeds done by their great-grandfathers, their great-great-grandfathers, or some of them even their fathers, it may linger to the fourth and fifth generation. It might linger that much. So you make out time, check up the genealogy of your husband, check up the genealogy of your wife, because even the wife you marry, sometimes her background can also affect your family. So both of you check up yourself, make sure your background is okay. And if you happen in any way to fall into any of these categories, please watch out for the second part of this video for the likely tips to the solutions. For the tips to the solution based on experiences. Thank you so much for watching and listening. God bless you as you make out time to check up your genealogy, check up your family history, and check up the things happening around the families where you are married into, or the families where you are, to see which of them or which category you fall into. God bless you. Thank you for listening.